Buonasera, bentornati al nostro appuntamento con il Binocolo, la rubrica all'interno dei grandi vini web TV con la quale andiamo a scoprire ogni volta un paese nel mondo. E vediamo oggi dove andiamo. Prendiamo il nostro binocolo e andiamo a scoprire. Oggi andiamo ad Hong Kong. Abbiamo con noi Debra Meiburg. Preciso che oggi l'intervista. Hello. Hello, Debra. Welcome with us. Benvenuta, Debra. Debra is a master of wine, the first Asian master of wine. She's based in Hong Kong since more than 20 years. She is expert in marketing, communication. 32
years.
Wow. And then she's a journalist. She has a wine school. She's holding seminars and masterclass all over the Asian market and so on. And we are very glad to have her as our guest today. So welcome, Debra.
Thank you so much. It's just wonderful to see you. It's been so long since we can see people in person.
Yeah, that's a pity. So now we would like to talk about the Italian wine in Hong Kong, to have a look at the situation. And let's go with the first question. We have seen in our wine observatory Nomisma that the importation from Italy and all over the country in Hong Kong, wine importation of course, decreased a lot. They lost more than 20%. For example, for Italy was less than 22%. So what is happening now in Hong Kong?
Hong Kong. Well, I think that's an interesting question to reflect and think about. But my guess, Hong Kong, in the first half of the year, we already had COVID issues at the end of January. So our restaurants and bars were closed the first half of the year, much of the year. And I think in general, Hong Kong people drink Italian wine with Italian food. It's not a wine that when they're home with their kids doing homework that they open to drink. It's more a wine of experience and pleasure and eating. And I think since that has slowed down eating out here, I think that might be why there was a little dip. But now Hong Kong is recovering. We have very low COVID rates. China has almost zero COVID. We have 1 or 2 cases each day only. And so we're now beginning to go to the restaurants again. So I think you will see imports improve again.
Okay, let's cross the finger. There is also a curious thing. During the first semester of 2020, about the New Zealand wines. These are the only wines which have seen an increase in their importation in Hong Kong. So that's curious. Plus 30% of the importation. Why is it happening this way? To your opinion?
That's really surprising news, but I have 2 guesses. The first guess is the New Zealand dollar was in a very favorable price range for Hong Kong. The currency of New Zealand had made New Zealand wine very affordable. So I suppose a lot of the importers bought New Zealand wine quickly. And the second thing, New Zealand makes wonderful Sauvignon Blanc, light, crisp, fresh. I imagine all the mothers having to help the kids with the homeschooling. Figure a quick Sauvignon Blanc at 4 o'clock is easier to drink casually than maybe a beautiful Barolo. Maybe it's just a quieter drink. But New Zealand has always been strong in our market, and also looking at that cycle, of course, New Zealand is southern hemisphere, so their sales period is a little bit different from northern hemisphere wines.
Okay, okay. And what do you think about the prospect of the Italian wines from now on?
Well, Hong Kong loves Italian wine, and I love Italian wine, as you know. We have a very active organization called Knights of Alba. So these are the wines of Piemonte, and I see the chat going and talking. You have some crazy fans of Italian wine here. And at the same time, I think the challenge for Italy is people mostly drink the wines only when they're in Italian restaurants. So we have to convince people to drink them at other occasions and with Cantonese food and as aperitifs. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that will be the challenge. But Prosecco does very well here, and
Oh,
um, and I think it's been a little more difficult for Prosecco the last few months because there's no parties, no weddings,
ah,
but
okay.
but in general, I think people really appreciate Prosecco. I did a workshop on Prosecco about 1 month ago. Of course, we could only make it small because of COVID, the spacing,
Yeah.
but it sold out in an hour. So
Ah,
people, I think, have a
wow.
very good interest in Italian wine.
Oh,
But I think
that's
the hard part is so many regions and so many great varieties. So we have a
yes.
lot of education to continue here.
Yes, you're right. You're right. And so, which are the most appreciated wines in Hong Kong? Italian wines, I
Ah,
mean.
well,
Prosecco, and
of
then?
course, Prosecco is popular as a entry drink, reception aperitif, but serious wine collectors really love, of course, Piemonte, mainly Barolo. They love Amarone and Brunello di Montalcino. Well, anything from Tuscany. I think most of the Chianti Classico is seen as wine they drink in restaurants, but they love
Ah,
the super Tuscans to collect.
ah,
Ornellaia, Sassicaia, Tignanello, to collect and bring to a special occasion. And the other region, I think it's growing in attention is Sicily, Sicilia, Sicily. I noticed that whenever we have workshops on Sicily, everyone registers. It's very, very popular.
ah,
And also, you should know my wine school is running the courses called VIA, which is a very serious 12-week in-depth exploration of Italian wines, originally organized by Vinitaly.
ah, okay.
And and so we have a full class of students going through this intense, really in-depth program. So I think we're going to see some change soon in preference and exploration of Italian wine.
All right. Thank you. And what do you think about promotion and communication?
It's
How can
so
the
important.
producer, yes, the Italian producer, how can they implement their strategies to approach the Hong Kong market?
Well, one wonderful thing about all of Asia, but especially Hong Kong, is we very much value education. So offering classes and seminars about the region and not just the wine, but a little bit of culture, atmosphere, lifestyle, help them understand the place is very, very valuable. And I also think these seminars, we have to keep it simple, not too many varieties, not too complicated. So the students can learn, say, 5 things and they will remember. I think that's
Yeah,
the key.
that's the key. Thank you. That's very interesting. Thank you for your effort, for your suggestions. They are very precious to us. And thank you for the interview, Deborah. And
Thank
hopefully we will
you.
see you again soon. Who
Oh, I
knows?
hope so. We will.
I hope.
We will see one another again soon. And thanks so much for involving me today.
Oh, it was a pleasure for us, really. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Bye
Take care
bye.
then. Bye bye.
Potrete avere l'intervista in integrale sulla nostra rivista e tradotta in italiano. Buonasera a tutti.